All right, good day, my awesome viewers and subscribers from all over the world. You are welcome to this great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Now, there is a big update here. U.S. Congressman Scott Perry has claimed USAID funds Boko Haram with $697 million annually, sparking security concerns in Nigeria. The damning revelation by United States Congressman Scott Perry that the United States Agency for International Development USAID funded terrorist organizations including Boko Haram to the tune of $697 million annually has elicited concerns by some security experts and diplomats in Nigeria. Now, there is still a lot of debate out there as to whether this revelation by the US Congressman Scott Perry is true or not. But the fact is, Boko Haram and all these other terrorists get foreign aid. And this foreign aid comes in through the APC. We may never know the whole truth with the APC in power, because if the USAID did fund Boko Haram, they did it through the APC, because the activities of Boko Haram began strongly in 2014 when the APC wanted to use insecurity to take power away from Jonathan. And as far as they remain in power, they will continue to cover their tracks. They will never let us know the whole truth. For instance, it took a change in the ruling party in the US from Democrats to Republican for this revelation to be made. And I brought this update here so that you don't think we are just being unnecessarily critical when we tell you that as far as the APC remains in power, insecurity will only continue to worsen in this country. It is not unnecessary criticism. It is just the truth. And few hours ago, Boko Haram responded to the claim that they had been subdued. The chief of defense staff said few days ago that Boko Haram had been subdued, and the group responded in a very brutal way that attracted heavy reactions. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a shocking update came out from southwest Nigeria. In the history of southern Muslim and northern Muslim relationship, this kind of chaos has never been seen. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. A video of Rufai Oseni reacting to NSA Nuhu Ribadu telling the Canadian embassy to go to hell for rejecting the CDS Christopher Musa's visa. See the video.
If this country is going to work, we have to do a lot of work. Thank you for the courage to say that Canada denied you. They can go to hell. Even though it's painful, it's disrespectful, but we are people. We are strong. And I agree with you. We have to fix our country. We have to do it well. Yes, this disrespect is too much. So, yet is another reason why we work hard to make Nigeria work.
Rufai, I know you want to say something.
We will travel. People will travel. The question is, when did Nigeria get to the point that it's being disrespected? I think that's the big question we should ask. Because when you look at it, we should go back to what has transpired over the years. But on the second thought, he said one part of his contingent was given their visa. They are already in Canada. That's what the chief of the CDS did say. It's the second part that was not given. So I think we should investigate and get from the Canadian embassy, why did that happen? Secondly, Nuhu Ribadu can make a case for development, which is fine, but saying countries should go to hell, question is that the best thing for a national security advisor to say when matters like this happen? It's not even his purview any longer. It should be the Minister of Foreign Affairs that will take it on with the Canadian authorities. All they needed to do was to report. So it goes back to what really happens in this government and reporting channel. If that had happened, could they have reported to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Mr. Tuga says, okay, Canadian High Commissioner, please come. Let's engage in this. Is this the way best possible for a free-for-all and say, go to hell and all of that? Is that the best possible? The other residual part of making a case for development, yes, we can make a case for development, that if we have done well, they will not treat us well. Yes, but if we have done well as a nation, Nigerians will still need to travel to other countries. We are not an island. What were they going for in the first place? Invictus Games. Prince Harry, he came here, and we're returning the favor, also attending. And you know the military just even finished a very successful African military games, which I have the tracksuit thanks to the CDS. It's a good one. I've won it a couple of times. Very good one. I must have to put a case in. But it also goes back to relationships. I do not believe the best approach and the best representation by the Nigerian government is to tell another country to go to hell.
You heard that. The reaction from Rufai Hosseini exuded wisdom from start to finish. But the same thing cannot be said of the reaction of Nuhu Ribadu. So, if the Canadian embassy comes out now to say that they suspect that members of the Tinubu cabinet are rogues, and that was why they denied the CDS visa, will you say they are wrong? If somebody sitting in a position as high as the NSA, Ribadu, can come out and speak like that without controlling his tongue, are you not confirming the suspicions of the embassy if they said that you people are thugs? And you simply can't give what you don't have. The reactions of the members of Tinubu cabinets to this rejection of the CDS has shown that that cabinet lacks wisdom. Why? Because anyone who goes on attack when it is time to investigate clearly lacks wisdom. None of them has said this was the reason why this man was rejected. They don't even know why he was denied. They are just coming all out on the attack. And secondly, their response shows admittance of guilt. They are reacting as if they have already concluded that he was rejected because the Tinubu government is corrupt. And that also portrays a lack of wisdom when the reaction to one man's rejection gives the entire cabinet away. That's a lack of wisdom, and it's such a shame. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that response by Boko Haram to the claim by the Chief of Defense Staff that the sect had been subdued. And next is that massive decision taken by Southwest Muslims against Northern Muslims, especially the leadership status of the Sultan of Sokoto as the leader of Muslims in Nigeria. Let's start by taking that update from the Boko Haram attack. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: Boko Haram terrorists attack Nigerian army base, kill 3 soldiers, steal gun trucks in Borno. Sahara reporters. Boko Haram / Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP terrorists have killed 3 Nigerian army personnel following an attack on a military base in Borno State. Sahara reporters gathered that the terrorists for several hours last Sunday attacked the military facility in Isige town, Goza local government area of the state. A source said that the terror group razed many buildings and took away gun trucks during the attack. Sahara reporters is withholding names of the army personnel killed as their families are yet to be informed. There was an attack recently in Borno. 1 staff sergeant with 2 private soldiers were killed. However, the army authorities are silent over the attack, which happened at a base in Isige town, Goza local government area of Borno State. They burnt 1 military vehicle while they went away with 2 gun trucks. Later, reinforcement came from nearby units, but then the Boko Haram fighters had left. This is coming a few weeks after the terror group launched a brutal attack on military's forward operating base in the Damboa local government area of the same Borno State, killing a yet-to-be-confirmed number of soldiers, with many still missing. 25 Task Force BDE was attacked during the weekend with so many casualties. So far, we have recovered over 7 bodies, a source had told Sahara reporters. The terror group invaded the Camp FOB Sabon Gari around 4 a.m. on Saturday using various weapons. The Nigerian army has repeatedly claimed that insurgency had been largely defeated and frequently underplays any losses. The terror group has caused over 100,000 deaths and displaced millions of people, mainly in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. You heard that. For over 10 years now, our security chiefs have been telling us that they have defeated Boko Haram. But the activities of these monsters persist in this country. And a few weeks ago, the Chief of Defense Staff said the military had all but neutralized Boko Haram. But the same Boko Haram didn't even go after civilians this time around. They attacked a military base, killing soldiers and capturing gun trucks. And they will never tell you the exact number of soldiers that were killed. That's why they can leave their widows to be suffering anyhow. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, they will go and hire some other women to come and act as widows. Does this kind of operation that we read about, does this signify a sect that has been defeated or even close to being defeated? What a disaster. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update on Yoruba Muslims and Northern Muslims began making the rounds after many Yoruba Muslims rejected the Sultan of Sokoto as the supreme leader of all Muslims in Nigeria. They are now moving to cut ties with things associated with his leadership. And their first move is to determine the day of commencement of Ramadan on their own instead of waiting to hear from the Sultan of Sokoto. This is not a purely religious update. There is a serious political angle to all this, and I'll explain after the update. Let's look at how the papers reported it. League of Imams in Yoruba land declares March 1 to commence Ramadan, abandons practice of waiting for Sultan of Sokoto. Sahara reporters. The League of Imams and Alfas in Yoruba land has announced that Ramadan 1446 will begin on Saturday, March 1, 2025, departing from the traditional practice of waiting for the official declaration by the Sultan of Sokoto, who is regarded as the spiritual leader of Nigerian Muslims. In a communique issued by the Office of the Grand Mufti of the League of Imams and Alfas in Yoruba land, the body stated that its decision was based on precise astronomical calculations and international Islamic conferences on lunar sightings. The statement cited multiple resolutions from Islamic jurisprudential councils, astronomical experts, and international conferences held in Istanbul, Paris, and within the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. According to these, the crescent moon marking the beginning of Ramadan will be visible after sunset on Friday, February 28, 2025, making March 1, 2025 the first day of fasting. The communique referenced the hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him. Fast when you see the crescent and break your fast when you see it, agreed upon by scholars. This announcement marks a significant shift from the long-standing practice in Nigeria, where the Sultan of Sokoto typically announces the start and end of Ramadan for the country's Muslim community. The move could further fuel discussions about religious autonomy among Yoruba Muslims who have in the past expressed concerns about regional independence in religious affairs. For instance, the Yoruba National Self-Determination Movement described the Sultan of Sokoto, Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar III's recent call for the imposition of Sharia law in Yoruba land as disrespectful. The secessionist group stated this in a statement signed by its leader, Professor Banji Akintoye, arguing that no Islamic provisions mandate Yoruba Muslims to accept the Sultan as their leader. Therefore, the first day of the blessed month of Ramadan 1446 will inshallah be Saturday, March 1, 2025, with the first Tawi prayer coming up on Friday night, February 28, 2025, inshallah. Wow. The Yorubas are beginning to grab a hold of themselves. Now, the Sultan of Sokoto, it is the usual practice that he will just come out and say, this is the day fasting will begin for everybody nationwide, and everybody will just follow suit. Now, what you may not know is that the date of fasting is not the only thing he decides. This is where the political thing comes in. He also decides who to be voted for in elections, but they will just pass that message to the mosques. So it is in the mosques nationwide that they will tell everybody. So if you are an ardent worshipper who goes from time to time, even when you know that this person on the ballot is very evil, you will be compelled in the mosque to vote the person because the Sultan of Sokoto has spoken. So what politicians do is to go and bribe him. They bribe. He's not the only one. They do it. It happens in all the religions. There are some people that they don't even have a brain of their own. It is the person, their pastors or their traditional religious head that tells them what to do in times of elections. During the 2023 presidential election, many knew, there were many people who knew that it was all shade of wrong to have Tinubu and Shetima on the ticket. But because some of these men said, no, Islamically, that is what we have decided to do, some of them just followed suit. But now Yoruba Muslims are breaking out. They want to have a mind of their own, and it is long overdue. This move further weakens the alliance between the southwest and northern Nigeria to continue to dominate this country to the injury, passing leadership amongst themselves, looting the country dry while the people wallow in abject poverty. And I hope that things like this continue to happen until the party that the alliance is forged on, the APC, totally disintegrates. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away.